Hello, I'm Death's Arrow, and welcome to What I'm Thinking Match of the Week for the week of February 24th, 2013. The replay that we'll be looking at is from February 25th, 2013 on Halluf in my T-54. I am platooned with Jovial Madness in his AMX-50 Foch and Midas Touch in his Conqueror. After showing a losing effort on this map in the most recent debrief, the following day I had an opportunity to show off what I learned from that loss. As noted on the loading screen, this is an encounter battle. Reviewing tank composition for this battle reveals the following. This is a tier 10 battle with 4 tier 10s and 5 tier 9s on each team. My team has a tier 7 light while the enemy team has a tier 8 heavy. Both teams have 5 arty pieces comprised of 4 tier 8s and a tier 7. Outside of my platoon, I recognize a few other players in this match. Platoon number 2 on the enemy team is comprised of former clanmates from VPG, and I specifically know C-Men's in F250 4x4. C-Men's is also a fellow video commentator. The enemy team has a member of Relic A, while my team has a member of DOS, Reddit, and Wot. With 5 arty per side, it's pretty clear what's going to win or lose this match. While it's a bit of a risk considering that the enemy team has a Batchat, E50M, IS-8, and T-54 E1, I plan to rush the beach. This will give me a forward position to spot targets for our arty and protection from their arty. I asked Jovial to cover me in case the enemy sends overwhelming numbers. As we get underway, I'll be weaving around my team and headed down towards the beach. Looks like I'm going to have strong Overwatch support between Jovial's 50 Foch and the Object 268. No target spotted so far. There's the E50M. Also have an ST1 headed my way. I've been spotted. I'm partway down. The enemy misses their shot on me. I make it to the beach without much of an issue, but the enemy has an E50M and an ST1 headed in my direction. If not for Overwatch support, I'd be in trouble. Turn my front armor towards him, continue to back away, track him with that hit, bounce a shot, pretty extreme angle on my front armor. I'm now partially hull down, another hit on the E50M, using this little hill here for cover. He really can only shoot at my turret, and he's turned his armor and given me a flank shot. I take advantage and get a hit. He's still giving me flank, and I knock him down. I was using heat rounds in that exchange. I felt that that was the best way that would allow me to make sure that every one of my shots penned. I now have an ST1 to line up, and already knocks him down. I fire right after he gets destroyed. I now control the beach. As far as I know, based on our spotting, the enemy hasn't sent any other tanks this way. In the early exchange, Jovial Madness got knocked down, so I'm down one of my platoon mates. Gonna move up to a familiar spotting position here. Seeing if I can pick up any spots, and I have been spotted. We have an E75 on the top of the hill. I'm going to be careful here. If arty has displaced far enough north, they could shoot at me. I'm getting good fire support there as someone else from across the ridge gets a hit on the E75 and he disappears. There's the E75 again. Playing pretty cautious here, just in case the enemy decides to send another tank down my way. They still have their Batchat hiding somewhere. Looking at the minimap, pretty good spread by our team. Got a little bit of a conflict going on at 823. Continuing to spot here. We've lost our E50M. Match is tied tank-wise. With the enemy defeated at the beach and no other enemies in the valley, I'm free to move to a better spotting location. There's the possibility that the Ag Tiger's up there, but I haven't spotted him, which means he's not really close to the edge of the ridge. And I haven't been shot at in a while, or spotted. I'm going to climb up the hill, see if I can light a few tanks for our arty. We just lost our M103. You'll notice that I'm using a slightly different minimap mod in this battle. This is the new enhanced minimap that comes with the latest version of XVM. It adds one nice feature over Locustan's HD minimap mod that it shows you the last spotted position of enemy tanks when they disappear from spotting. I have now spotted the Jagdtiger. I'm not even sure he's loaded into the battle based on the fact... Nope, he's moving, he's loaded in. Keeping him spotted for Artie, and they knock him down. Batchat already spotted on top of the ridge. Just reacted there. Line him up. Get a hit on him. Back and back down the hill. Just in case the enemy Artie's paying attention. There's quite a bit of chatter going on in the in-game chat. Take a hit from the Batchat. I find myself in a similar situation as the debrief battle. The enemy has at least 2 tanks in this area, including the spotted Batchat plus Artie. The Bat is in Artie cover, and if I want to take him down, I'll be on my own. This is definitely a losing battle for me, so rather than pushing in, I move laterally across the ridge. Artie's able to knock him down. Climbing up this hill, another familiar position from the debrief battle. We're currently leading by 1 tank. I'm attempting to make a move across the top of the ridge instead of trying a standoff position against the Batchat. This position really isn't much better. My plan was to take the long route along the top of the ridge line to get to the 0 column, but I get spotted by the enemy M103 and am forced to return to hard cover. Take minor damage in that hit. I'm going to try to keep them lit for Artie here for a second. And our Artie knocks down the M103. Just the Batchat across from me. And the E75 is somewhere up here, although he hasn't been spotted recently. Trying to spot the Batchat again. He doesn't light. I now figure that it's safe to try to make my run across the ridge again. With the M103 knocked down, I'm now free to make my move along the ridge. If the Bat already hasn't moved, I should be able to take him out and get into a better position to take on the enemy Batchat. Object 268's moved across, climbing up the hill. Maneuver around the ridge. Getting a little hung up on the terrain here. I don't want to get too far towards the edge because I could slide off. But there is some room to maneuver up here. Just have to pick the right route. In the meantime, the northern flank has been crushed. Based on what I see on the minimap, the only enemy tanks left near spawn are the Batchat and E75. I need to get a move on before the enemy gets to our Artie. Figure I'm going to run into the Batchat Artie any second now. Come over the ridge, spot the Batchat, get the hit in on him before he can shoot me. Keep moving just in case Artie's paying attention to me. Come up on the ridge, there's the E75, he's at 70 hit points. Line him up, I bounce. He shoots back and misses. I've been spotted, so I'm going to keep maneuvering. One of the things you can do to dissuade Artie from being able to hit you is to continue to move and be somewhat erratic. Not my most erratic moving, but I am sliding around a bit. Enemy IS-8 has been knocked down. That means just an IS-4 on that flank. After trading shots with the E-75, I attempt to move forward to the next hill only to spot the enemy Batchat coming for me. Fighting the Bat head-to-head is a losing proposition, so I make a run for the ridge, snapping off a shot as I go. If the Batchat chases me, he'll be out in the open and open to Artie, or he's going to back up like he's doing here, which is the smart move. Siemens in his T-92 has moved up to take on the 268. He gets knocked down. 268 goes to take on the E-75, and this gives me a nice opening to come in and hit the E-75 from behind, which is what I'm going to do. You can see on the minimap the Batchat is reacting as I knock down the E-75. It's coming over to attack myself and the object. Kind of looks like the object is exiting the battle here, trying to circle around behind the Batchat. and it did appear for a second here that I was basically alone to fight the Batchat, and I'm taking a beating, but the Object 268 was actually turning around in place, gets a big hit on the Batchat, and I knock him down. I'm now arty hunting. I am down to 10% health. Spot the M4043. Enemies down to 3 tanks. Northern flank is completely crushed now with the T-30 being knocked down. I'm circling the arty, and he missed me. I was going to move in on him, but our arty knocks him down. The match is pretty much settled at this point, but the enemy has an IS-4 somewhere in our backfield. I head back to base, taking the northern route in case the final enemy arty displaced. One of the things that isn't particularly widely known is the T-92 is actually a pretty mobile arty unit. The Object 268 is actually retreading through area I've already spotted. One thing that has changed since this map was last remodeled is the A0 area has some different hills and the ability to hide arty. And that's the one area on the enemy side of the map that we haven't cleared. I'm not sure why the 268 is going all the way in that direction. There's no way the arty would have snuck past me. And Jovial's trying to redirect him to get over to that area. I've loaded heat shells for when I run into the IS-4 in case he has frontal armor pointed at me. I want to make sure that I pen him since I am one-shottable. You can see the mobility of the 54 here as I cross the map in approximately 90 seconds and spot the IS-4 which our arty knocks down. With only a hidden T-92 remaining, I decide to start cap just in case our T-68 can't find him. There's about 3 minutes left in this match, and a draw would be a bad outcome. These are really just insurance cap points at this point, just in case. The object spots the T-92 and already knocks him down for the win. Looking at the after action screens, I destroyed 4 tanks, hit 12 of 14 shots, detect 7 tanks, directly did 2,107 points of damage, spotted for 7,183 points of damage, and earned 2,290 experience before the double and XP event award. I also earned a patrol duty medal and an ace tanker badge. Overall, given the team's composition, it was unsurprising that artillery dominated this match. A lot of my decision making was done to either give our arty targets to shoot at or to protect myself from enemy arty. While I took a risk pushing the beach at the start of the match given that the enemy had more fast tanks, it was a calculated risk given that my team had more tank destroyers that could provide support in case the enemy sent more tanks than I could handle. About midway through the battle, I found myself in a similar situation as the debrief battle from the previous day. Rather than push into a bad situation against a Batchat and an E-75, I pulled back and circled around to the top of the ridge, which led to better opportunities. Even though the northern flank failed similarly to the debrief battle, I kept my head and didn't take any reckless risks. One of the big differences between this battle and the debrief battle was team support. Between arty and the Object 268, I spotted for over 7,000 points of damage. Thank you for watching What I'm Thinking Match of the Week! Stay tuned for more content soon.